back to my channel, Kazzy here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my reading influences. I probably could have put this into my reading story video, but I kind of just wanted to have, you know, like another video that I could just film in front of my tree, because there's only like so many more weeks that I can use this, and I'm like working ridiculous hours right now. I am going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark, and so that just like is a major buzzkill for trying to film, because you know, you need light, and I don't really have a lot of light. I just have like a little ring light that I'm like hoping to have a bit of a road test of it, but we'll see how it goes. So I just filmed my reading story, which I will have linked down below and up here in the corner if you haven't seen it. In this one I'm going to be talking about my reading influences, because I actually have quite a few reading influences, and like these are people that, you know, are ones that have influenced me to read and read more and just really enjoy reading. So without further ado, let's just get into them. The first of my reading influences is actually my mum. My mum is a voracious reader. She has been reading since pretty much long before I was born. A lot of my early memories of her are when she's been reading, and I actually remember once when I was maybe about 9 or 10 years old, is actually going to her bookcase where she has all of her Danielle Steele books. She has pretty much every single Danielle Steele book in creation and has multiple copies of them. So now you can see where I get it that I need multiple copies of books. Like she's done that by accident. I did it on purpose. I've one-upped her. I remember going into the room and picking out one of the books that I thought had the prettiest cover, which was actually a Weekend in Paris, I want to say it was. I'm not sure what the actual title was, but it was just a purple book with just a little picture of the Eiffel Tower at about sunset, and I just wanted to read that one. I had no idea what it was about. Opened it and I just thought it was like gibberish. Like I could read at this point. I could read. It just wasn't for me. It's not that I didn't like what was actually happening. It was just that I was like, there are so many pages, there's so much text, there's not even a picture. I was a kid, okay? Remember that. I was a child. I wanted pictures. Fast forward a couple more years later and I'm about 14, 15, 16, about that age. I was in GCSE years, so I was about 15, 16. I wanted to read. I just wanted to spend my summer reading. I wanted to read a lot of books, and so I went to her bookcase and I picked up books by Barbara Taylor Bradford and Danielle Steele. I would go from Barbara Taylor Bradford to Danielle Steele, back to Barbara Taylor Bradford to Danielle Steele. I would just start it and finish it within a couple of days. I remember reading on our balcony in the summer seat and just reading with just like the radio on, I think Classic FM at the time, and just reading with my earphones in. And I remember taking one of the books down to Dublin whenever we went to the zoo, and I was reading it in the bus and I was reading it back up in the bus. It was just the best time. And I would read Danielle Steele as well, because Danielle Steele is my mum's favourite author. Every time a book comes out, automatically buy it for her. And because my mum reads so much, it got me interested in reading, and we'd be like wondering, why is she reading so many books? The amount of times that she's like come home from anywhere with a book in her hand is ridiculous. And then she would be like swapping books with her family, with her aunts, with her best friends, with her sisters-in-law, and just like, you know, it just like became like a kind of fun thing to do. And so now I love reading. There are times when I still borrow some of her books, and there are ones that I have like bought her that I absolutely adore the cover of, that I want to read. There's one called The Duchess by Danielle Steele, and I want to read it purely because the cover is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I know you shouldn't want to read books by their covers, but this one I do. Now we even just talk about books together. Like there's times when she's talking about the books that she's reading, and then I'm just like, oh, that sounds good, and then I'll tell her about the one that I'm reading, and she's like, okay, because I read fantasy, she doesn't. It makes for a fun time trying to explain to her what is happening in these books. So yeah. I also have 3 actresses that are major influences in my reading that actually got me into reading because they read, and they are Amelia Fox, Kitty McGrath, and Kate Mulgrew. I'll talk about Kate Mulgrew later. I'm just going to talk about Kitty McGrath and Amelia Fox right now, because Kitty McGrath and Amelia Fox co-starred on Merlin together, and I love Merlin. It was like my be-all and end-all when I was about 20, 21, 22. It was like my favourite television show, and they played Morgana and Morgause respectively. And there's probably not a behind-the-scenes photo on that series where Katie McGrath is not reading a book. She's either walking around with books in her hand, or she's sitting on set with reading a book with her head in her hands, reading a book, or just this, that, and the other. And even when she was in Jurassic World as Zara, she's reading a book. Like, yes. Amelia Fox did like a little photo shoot years ago where she's like recreating book covers. I think she did Jump by whoever wrote that. I have no idea who it was. I've never read it. She did Hermione Granger. Like, it was just like such a cute little photo shoot, and so that just like got me wanting to read, because like I'm such a sheep. If my favorite people say jump, I will say hi hi. Like, if Kate Mulgrew said read this book, I'd be like, okay. I know it's quite pathetic, but that's me. With Katie McGrath and Amelia Fox, they don't so much as influence what I read, but they influence that I read, if that makes any sense. I don't read the books that they've read. I like to read because of them, because they read, because I'm a sheep, and you know, that kind of thing. And because of Amelia Fox, I've actually gotten into audiobooks as well. I've listened to 2 of hers, and she's actually got quite a catalogue of audiobooks. It's quite ridiculous, and you know, it's surprising what she can do in an audiobook, especially with accents. Like, I have no idea whether they're crap or not, but it's still kind of fun to hear her with these accents in roles that you never would have thought her to do. And that then segues me, wow, that was a tongue twister. And so that segues me nicely into Kate Mulgrew, because she is probably, besides my mom, one of my biggest reading influences, because I remember that there is a convention clip of her, I'm not sure whether it was Bournemouth or another convention that she has done in the past, because like, let's just say she's done probably like hundreds if not thousands, where she tells a child in a coma in the audience to start reading. Being the impressionable person that I am, she's like saying, you know, to read. I'm like, okay, I gotta read. I've got to read. I need to read. I need to read more. That's probably why my reading was so sporadic, because I would just read a book and then stop and then decide, and then hear her say that again, and then, oh, I need to read more. I'm pretty sure she doesn't read the same ones that I do, because like I read more fantasy. I don't know what her favorite genre is, but I know that one of her favorite books is Dr. Zhivago. She likes those ones. I have not read those ones, and I think then I wanted to read Anna Karenina around the same time. Started it, stopped it. Like, I was at that age where I was like still in school and still reading what they were telling me to read, and so I was just like, nope. And, like, I'm not so much of a sheep that I would be like, yes, I need to read this to understand what she's talking about. Not so much. Because she loves reading so much, and then she was recommending these books through interviews, that I was like, oh, I would like to start reading. I would like to read more. But it was all I kind of reading that felt like a reading, like required reading, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, my brain's kind of ridiculously stupid. It's like saying, I want to read, but I don't want to read what they're telling me to read. But Kate Mulgrew is telling me to read, so I need to read. You never want to be in my head, trust me, you don't. And lastly, the biggest reading influence that I have, or like book buying influence that I have, is Hayley in Bookland here on BookTube. I discovered her back in March, marathoned her videos. I still do. There's still times where I'm just like, what do I want to do? Let's watch Hayley in Bookland. I adore that girl so much. It's her excitement for reading that has really got me into reading. Because I'm hearing about books from her that interest me, then I have discovered all of these new books that I absolutely, completely and utterly adore. That I'm like saying, she's one of the biggest influences. Because of her and her videos and her content, I am buying more books, and I'm loving these books that I'm buying because I know now what to buy, and because of that she is so influential to me. I just love her enthusiasm for it, and it's the same with all of these influences that I mentioned. They have such enthusiasm for reading. Like, my mom, when I bring home a new Danielle Steele book, her face just lights up. She's so excited. Whenever she opens a Danielle Steele book, it's read within like a day. And it's the same with Katie McGrath and Amelia Fox and Kate Mulgrew. They just have such enthusiasm for reading. They love to read. They tell other people to read because it's just so influential to their lives, and they love discussing what they're reading. That's another thing. And even with Hayley as well, they love discussing what they've read, and that's another joy that I have discovered too. I love discussing books with people. I love talking about them as well here, because on my wrap-ups I just love talking about books, and I love recommending books and just everything about it. And it's because of these people that I have really discovered that I love reading, I love literature. I have always loved literature, but in a way that was kind of hidden, latent almost. It's just been the biggest and best kind of thing that I've discovered this year, and I'm like, why did I wait so long to really get into reading? Why did I wait so long to find these books? Because like, there are times when I'm like shopping and I'm like looking at books and I'm just like, oh, that might interest me, but it might not. It's that fear, but at the same time, you just gotta just jump in and just go for it. I kind of lost my thought process throughout that, in the middle of that sentence. Okay, yeah. I think I should probably just go. So yeah, those are all my reading influences, guys. Let me know down in the comments below who your reading influences are, whether they're a teacher, your parent, a family member, an actor or an actress, or just a friend. Let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in my next video.